There's a moment, usually late at night, when everything goes quiet, and suddenly, your mind gets louder. You replay something you said 6 hours ago, a conversation that's already over, but somehow still happening inside your head. You imagine what they really meant, what they might be thinking now, what you should have said instead. And even when nothing is actually wrong, it feels like something is. If that feels familiar, this isn't just thinking too much. It's something far more personal. And here's the part no one tells you. You're not overthinking because you're weak. You're overthinking because at some point in your life, it worked. Imagine this. You're lying in bed. Your phone is next to you. No new messages. But your brain doesn't accept that. Why haven't they replied? Did I say something weird? Maybe they're upset. Or maybe they're just busy. No, people always say that. And just like that, a simple silence turns into a full story. A story where you're the problem. And the worst part? You know it's irrational, but you still feel it. That's the exhausting part of being an overthinker. You don't just think. You feel every thought. But here's something that might change how you see yourself. Most overthinkers aren't broken. They're people who became emotionally intelligent too early. You learned how to read the room before you even understood yourself. You noticed tone shifts, facial expressions, unspoken tension, because missing those signals wasn't safe. So your brain adapted. It became faster, sharper, more alert, not to succeed, but to avoid getting hurt. And now, that same brain doesn't know how to stop, because it thinks it's still protecting you. Pause for a second. Think about the last thing you overthought. Was it actually happening? Or was it a possibility that felt real? Because here's the truth most people miss. Your brain doesn't react to reality. It reacts to what it believes is reality. And if something could go wrong, your mind treats it like it already has. That's why your chest tightens, your heart races, your mood shifts instantly. Not because something happened, but because your mind predicted pain. And this is where it gets dangerous. Because over time, you stop trusting reality and start trusting your thoughts more, even when they're hurting you. Let's go deeper. Overthinking is not just thinking. It's your brain trying to solve a feeling using thoughts. Read that again. Because this changes everything. You're not stuck on that conversation because it's confusing. You're stuck on it because of what it made you feel. Maybe small, maybe rejected, maybe not enough. And your mind keeps going in circles, trying to fix that feeling. But it never works, because feelings don't get solved by thinking. Here's the trap. The more you think, the more you feel. And the more you feel, the more you think. A perfect loop. Quiet on the outside, chaos on the inside. And somewhere in that loop, you start believing something dangerous. If I just think a little more, I'll finally feel okay. But you won't. Because peace doesn't come from figuring everything out. It comes from realizing not everything needs to be figured out. Another pause. Be honest with yourself. How many moments have you ruined by trying to understand them perfectly? How many times did you reread a message looking for a hidden meaning that wasn't there? How many nights did you lose fighting thoughts that didn't matter the next morning? This is not about your thoughts. This is about what your thoughts are trying to protect. And for most people, it's the fear of being misunderstood, rejected, or not enough. And once you see that, something shifts. Because now, it's no longer about controlling every thought. It's about understanding the fear behind them. And here's the realization that changes everything. You don't need to trust every thought you have. Just because your mind says something doesn't make it true. Just because it feels real doesn't mean it is real. Your mind is powerful, but it's also biased, especially when it's trying to protect you. So what do? You don't fight your thoughts. You don't try to silence them. You change your relationship with them. Next time your mind starts spiraling, instead of asking, "Why is this happening?" ask, "What am I feeling right now?" That question breaks the loop. It brings you out of your head and back into yourself. Because at the end of the day, you're not an overthinker. You're someone who learned to survive by staying one step ahead of pain. And maybe you don't need to do that anymore. So tonight, when everything gets quiet again and your thoughts start getting loud, don't try to win the argument in your head. Don't try to solve every possibility. Just sit there and notice it. And remind yourself, my mind is trying to protect me, but I'm safe right now. Because the truth is, your mind isn't broken. It's just been protecting you for too long. And maybe, for the first time, you don't need protection. You just need peace.